Hey, welcome, glad you're here. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dan, your friendly fishmonger, and we do this every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. For those that don't know where Mountain Time is, that's 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for joining us. I've got some cool stuff to talk about. He's late! I am? Oh, it just clicked to 7:01 on my screen. So, yes, I guess I am slightly late. Sorry about that, folks. A wizard is never late. A wizard arrives precisely when he means to, right? Right? Gonna go over some exciting stuff today, and then we'll get to all your questions and comments. So, I'm just gonna start with the shipping report. I am happy to say that nothing that I shipped out this week has had a problem. As far as I know, as far as has been reported to me from my customers, everything has arrived alive and seems to be doing fine. So that's where we want to be, 100% success rate. We usually get pretty darn close, but it's nice when we actually get the 100. So that's awesome. Now, if that's not the case and you did have a problem, please feel free to report to me. You can do it dan@dansfish.com. That's my email. Or you can leave in the chat here. It's all out. It's all transparent. Everyone's allowed to know. We work hard to make this make our fish and our shipping good for the customer and good for the fish. And usually everything goes well. So I'm not afraid of people just letting me know when there's problems, even publicly. It's fine. We're all in this together. So no worries. Orange goes, I want my entrance fee returned since you were late. Haha. Yeah, it's sweet vengeance, isn't it? Because usually when people are late, I'm like, off to the principal's office. But I guess I have to go see the principal now. I'll do that promptly after the stream. The principal's name is Brenda. My lovely wife. So that's the shipping report, 100%, which is great. The import report is I got some new fish in yesterday. Some Tatia, so some woodcats. They're the Galaxy woodcat. I think it's I forget the species name, but a cool small little woodcat with lots of neat markings on them. Don't get too big. Stay around I think 2 to 3 inches. 2 inches I want to say. I'd have to look again. Maybe they get as big as 3. Peaceful little guys, kind of cool. And then some wild type bettas. I was able to get Betta NSA back in again. Has it been a year since I've been able to get that fish? It's been a long time. Betta Falx, Betta Pugnax, and Betta Bellica. Betta Bellica are beautiful. They're amazing. If you haven't tried them yet, they're a bubble nest breeder, not a mouth brooder. Large, peaceful, lots of iridescence, lots of green and blues on them, extended fins, really pretty for a wild type betta. Betta Pugnax is the first wild type betta that I ever kept and spawned. I never got fry from them. I was probably 14, 15 years old when this happened. And back then there was like the North American Fish Traders Guild. And so you get a monthly or bi-monthly pamphlet in the mail, brochure, where you would list the stuff you had available and other people would too, and then you would kind of swap. It wasn't so much for selling, it was more swapping. So I remember I was breeding and raising Aplochilus panchax, a little surface-dwelling killifish that looks kind of like a little pike. Looks a lot like a golden wonder body shape. And another gentleman somewhere in the United States had Betta Pugnax. And I wanted to try wild type bettas really bad, so we did a swap. I sent him some fish and eggs, and he sent me some Pugnax. And they spawned all the time, but I was so enthusiastic that whenever they spawned, I would check on the male every day, make sure he's still holding, right? And I think I disturbed him too much. So he never held a term, but it was the first wild type, mouth brooding type betta that I ever observed spawn and had holding eggs. Don't think I got fry from that first pair though, because again, I just had to check every day, go find them, and I think that was a problem when you're a 14-year-old kid. So got those in. I'm going to give you a quick look at some of the fish that we'll be listing this weekend for sale. The large import that came in, almost all those fish are ready to go. So I'll be doing that, but first I want to talk about our giveaway. Our giveaway tonight is provided by Absolute Aquatics. Thank you so much, Tracian, for doing that. And this is Absolute Aquatics YouTube channel, new YouTuber. And the giveaway is for 2 $25 gift certificates to dansfish.com. So there'll be 2 different giveaways. We'll do them at different times tonight. And Absolute Aquatics is providing those, and I'll send them out to you if you're the winner. So yeah, 2 chances to win, $25 each for a total of $50. And to enter, hashtag is absolutely. That's the hashtag. Just one word, hashtag absolutely, to enter tonight. So if you'd like a chance to win a $25 gift certificate or 2, enter hashtag absolutely in the chat. And at some point, we'll draw a couple of those. So thanks again to Tracian from Absolute Aquatics for providing those. I really, really appreciate it. Now to show you, and I just took a few species. I guess let me show you. Here's what I'll do. I'll show you a few highlights from the list, and then I'll show you the entire, just pictures. And then I'll take a moment to show you the entire list so you can see everything that came in. And oh, I haven't been showing this, have I? Jeez. Okay. Hashtag is absolutely. And this whole time I thought I was helping Absolute Aquatics out by showing his YouTube channel. But here it is. I'll link it down below. There you go, Tracian. And, or maybe I was showing it and I forgot and switched back. I don't remember. I don't remember. So let me show you some pictures of some highlights, and then I'll show you briefly the entire list. Almost everything on the list is doing really well and is ready to go. There are a few species that were delayed or that are still a little shaky, and so those aren't ready yet. But here we go. So the first thing is black German rams. No problems with these guys whatsoever. They came in and started eating within an hour of being let go. No clamping fins. One tiny outbreak of ick on day 2, but that's totally normal with these guys. And it was cleared up within 48 hours, and there has been no problem since. So I actually expect that with rams, especially if they get a little cold, they're going to get ick. And it just happens. But they're small, maybe on the 1-inch side, I would say, but healthy and happy. So black rams is the first one. Second one is Corydoras equus. Same supplier as last time. Again, just like last time, no losses, out and about, eating, doing really well. So I'm really happy with the supplier for Corydoras. It's been all the Corys I've got from this person have been fantastic. Haven't had problems. Some Aspidoras. These are Ramundi, which are kind of like a Corydoras catfish. They stay pretty small. They're a little more slender. A different genus, but you can keep them like a Cory. Same basic behavior, same basic look, just a little bit different. These are the true freshwater Bumblebee Gobi. So I got a bunch in. They're doing fantastic. No losses. They're eating flakes. They're eating pellets. They like scuds too and all that stuff. But so far, super easy to keep. And they don't look like this. This is not what they look like. They're not that bold pattern. They're more like... well, this is pretty good. More like this. Although this one's faded out a little bit. Let's see, I'm trying to find a picture that's fairly accurate. I mean, these are pretty close. Yeah, something like that. But true freshwater, which is cool because I don't like keeping brackish water, but I love Bumblebee Gobies. Another really cool Gobi that I showed briefly, I think last week, is this one. I'm not going to try to, well, I am going to try. Zosterophorum. Sicyopus zosterophorum. Anyway, they really are stunning. They are truly beautiful. And doing great. These little guys are awesome. These are the tiger gobies. And that's a flattering picture. It's overexposed, so it makes it seem like a bright white band. It's not really. This is very accurate right here. It is tiger striped, but that picture is a little misleading from up above. So something like that. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. They are like a horse-faced loach. They burrow in the sand, and you'll just see their little faces poking up out of the sand until you put food in, And then they all rush up and eat the food. They're only eating live and frozen so far, though. They're at the point where they're like picking, they're like suck in flakes and pellets and kind of chew on them and spit them back out. I think within a couple more weeks, they'll be able to transition completely. But right now, if you get them, realize they'll need live and frozen foods. Celebi's half-beaks, nice kind of dark colored half-beak. Gets a little larger than your wrestling half-beaks or your platinum half-beaks. Awesome fish, easy to feed, easy to breed, pretty hardy for a half-beak. One of the things that makes them hardy versus the other species I have is they don't have a super long beak. So they have the half-beak, but it doesn't protrude out like half their body length or a full body length or something. So they're less likely to get damaged in shipping. Got some L14s, Sunshine Plecos, I think or Gold Spot Pleco, I don't remember. L14s, absolutely stunning, doing great. So I'm liking this Pleco thing. Thanks, Mikey Trevor, for giving me the courage to try them. Shodenai Puffers are doing fantastic. One came in with a deformed mouth, and I'm worried about him. I don't know if it's an injury, I don't know what it is, but everyone else seems to be doing well. And what they actually look like now, because they're little, is like this. This is a very accurate picture of what they look like. Kind of that mottled, spotted pattern versus an adult, which check out Preston John's channel for adults, but here's some pictures of some adults. But they're doing really well. They're only eating snails and scuds right now because the tank I put them in just has a bajillion in there, and they haven't gone through them all yet. So I haven't tried to get them onto prepared foods yet because they still haven't gone through all the live food that was in that tank when I put them in. And it's not because they're not eating well. They're eating very well. It's just because there were literally a bajillion scuds and snails in there. And then we get into the rainbow fish section. This is the Frederici. Oh, one more Gobi. The Flavipinus. It's a cool little sleeper type Gobi, but it gets this bright yellow dorsal, and they actually have that. When they came in, they had it. It didn't like fade out or anything like that. Here's another cool picture. This bright yellow anterior dorsal fin. Predatory guys, but they don't get too big. And my first time with them, so that's kind of all I know right now. Iriangias. This is a rainbow fish species. Wanamensis. The green dragon, I think they call these because of that large, oh, that picture doesn't show it so much here. Like these big filaments they get on their fins. So what's next? I got 3 locations of Trifasciata. I got Hapgood River, Cohen River, and shoot, and another one that I can't remember right now. And each one's as pretty as the last. They're awesome. Mamahensis, because I've never seen this fish before and I wanted to see him. So interesting rainbow fish that you don't see very often. And the last one, just on the highlights reel, it was hard to pick. There's lots of great ones we could have put on the highlights reel, but more Paluticola, Pseudomugil Paluticola. And this picture is pretty good. They get a lemon yellow on the fins and kind of this steel blue, I would say, on the body. Not a super bright colored Pseudomugil, but super rare and not bad looking. I would call it handsome instead of beautiful, but that lemon yellow really does come into play on them. So it's not just a silverfish. And okay, let me get all that out of the way. Okay, close down all those tabs because that was. Oh, I did miss the Origius. I'm sorry, Michael. Let me bring that up. I absolutely did. So here, got 2 species of Origius rice fish in. This first one is Profundicola. It's a neat rice fish. It looks a lot like this. Tan with that barring and a bright blue eye. But the males get this kind of yellow color on the fin margins. So I would say if you took this picture and combined it with this one, you get a good idea of the body plus the fins is what they actually look like. And then I got some more of the other one. Let me just show you real quick. I got some more Manta Matinensis, just because I really liked them, and they're doing really well. So I got some more. They're breeding actually. I have baby Matinensis from the original batch that I got. Now the Profundicola and the Matinensis are wild caught, and they're not going to be ready this weekend. I can just tell that they aren't there yet. I know what that fish acts like when it's totally healthy and totally settled in, and it's just not there. So part of the issue is it takes them a while being wild caught fish. Not that rice fish are picky, but with these two species, it takes them a while to start eating flakes and pellets really well. And they are eating them. That kind of actually just started today where they readily took them. But it's going to take a couple weeks of them eating that regularly before they all really learn to attack it. And at that point, I'll feel comfortable selling them. A couple of them have kind of, it's not pine coning, it's not like Dropsy, but if you look at the scales, they just look a little rough. So they have some more settling in to do. And I'm not surprised, because the first group of Matinensis I got in took a long time to settle in. It came in bad shape, the first batch, so that was part of it. These batches both came in great shape, but it's going to just take a while for them to settle in. But two really cool species of rice fish that you just don't see out there. Every now and then you might see them, but they're hard to find. All right. Let's see here. Oh, then I was going to show you just real briefly before I move on. If this isn't for you, don't worry. We're going to move on pretty quick. But I wanted to show, not that. What was I going to show? Hang on. The full list. Okay, I didn't put everything on the highlights reel because I didn't want my computer running so many tabs and getting confused. But here's the entire list of what actually arrived, and I'll just set it there for a second and then I'll page down. The only thing on here that didn't come was the pike crocodile fish, the predatory gourami basically. Okay, let's scroll down. You've all had a chance to look at that. I'll just leave this here for a couple seconds so people have a chance to see it. And again, almost everything on here is doing great. There's a couple of things that I'm holding a little longer, either because they aren't doing well, or because I just want to give them a little longer so I'm confident with them, based on my past experience with that species or similar species. Just want to give them a little extra time. So that's the entire list right there. And now we'll close that out. Hold on, let me get that out of here. Cool. And now I want to move on to something which I think is really cool, which is this, which I'll show you in one moment. This, he says, and nothing appears. Okay, so I'm confident enough that this is happening now, that we're far enough along in the process. There's still a little ink that has to dry, but this is happening. So this is the warehouse we're building. We're doing it in two phases. This is the first phase, this upper building here. The second phase is this section down here. This will hold 508 aquariums. This section right here is the treatment area. So water comes in, goes into a pressure tank, then goes into a sediment filter, then goes into a carbon filter, then into a UV filter, and then into a heat exchanger, and then out to a boiler, and goes through all these aquariums. Then it comes back, drains from the aquariums, goes through another UV filter, goes through the exchanger, and goes back to the creek. So this is how we have it laid out. It's basically a whole bunch of aquariums, a couple workstations, water treatment area, workstations and storage area, and a bathroom, and some office space, some desks. So that's what is being worked on right now. We're already kind of moving on it. And here is the official plan. Let me see if I can move myself. Hang on, I've got to transition here. Then I can get myself a bunch smaller. There, so I'm not in the way. So here's the official rendering that the draftsman has done. The floor plan here. Phase 1, this is the elevation. Phase 2, we'll meet up here and go down here, and we'll throw a couple cupolas on the roof or something to make it a little prettier. And then here's what the front of the building looks like. So it's moving along. I think everyone's totally committed. We have enough funds to break ground and get going. We might need a few funds to fill out completely with tanks, but we have enough now to put enough aquariums in there and get it kind of up and running. But if you are interested in investing in Dan's Fish, we are looking for some more funding just so we can build that out completely from the get-go. The thing is that the water treatment area, that equipment that we're running, basically whether we're running that to 1 aquarium or 508 aquariums, we still have to run the water treatment system. And so it makes sense to kind of get it full of aquariums and running completely as quickly as we can versus running all that heavy equipment. It's not heavy equipment, that's a backhoe. All that filtration and purification and sanitation equipment and not taking full advantage of it by filling the building completely with aquariums. So we are looking at raising a little more funds so we can do that. But it's coming along. Everything's moving along. We started meeting I've been meeting with contractors and everyone for a while, but we're at the point now where the city is basically like, okay, yeah, let's start moving on this. So I'll get the foundation permit approved. Hopefully I can get that done. It'll probably be next week when that's approved. And as soon as that's approved, then we're good to break ground on this. So we're moving right along. My dream is to get the walls and ceiling up before the hard freeze of winter sets in, because you can't really pour concrete when it's 30 below. It's hard to pour a foundation when it's 30 below. But if we can get the foundation done, walls and ceiling on, and get it enclosed, then I can build it out and get all those racks built and everything set up over the winter so we can open and be ready for business kind of in the spring, early summer. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's everything on my end. What's that? It's been 24 minutes that I've been gabbing, so that's probably enough of me. We'll get to your questions and comments now. Thanks again to Absolute Aquatics for providing 2 $25 giveaways for tonight's giveaway. 2 $25 gift certificates, shall we, for tonight's giveaway. Here's Absolute Aquatics YouTube channel if you want to give him a look-see. So thanks again, Trayson. I appreciate that. All right. So with that, I'm going to get to your questions and comments. And let's see here. How many mods do we have here tonight? Do we have enough to try something new? We have Kaler, Candy. I saw Punchy Paints in here earlier. Okay, cool. I was wondering, mods, and let me know. I've actually been meaning to call you guys and get your opinion on this, but I'm just going to say it now. I'm wondering what you guys would think about trying to run the live stream a little different tonight, just to see how it goes. So, questions and comments. We all know I'm always, as Candy puts it, at least 6 months behind. I never catch up. There's so many that a lot of people get left out. I'm so far behind that chat often jumps on me and cuts out whole swaths of questions and comments. And I'm wondering if there's a better way to manage it. So what I thought we might do, mods, and let me know if this is just horrible, is if you guys look for questions and comments that you think are interesting or that have merit, or that you just think, hey, let's do this one, if you would grab it and post it for me to see. If you make it at Dan's Fish, I'll see it. And so I'll look for mod comments that have at Dan's Fish in them and read those. That way I can stay at the bottom of the chat all the time and just look for that as you guys feed them to me. Now, what I don't know is if that's extra work, and you guys already do a bunch, so I don't know if that's something that you can handle how we are right now. But if you can, let me know. If you think, oh, that's not going to work with how we're configured at the moment, let me know and we won't do that. But if you think that's a good idea, then I thought maybe we could try that tonight. Or if that's not a good idea, then I'll get prepared for next week and maybe bring on a new mod that's their entire job, is just to look for questions and comments and highlight them for me, basically, so I can stay at the bottom of the chat and kind of keep up with stuff. So curious what you guys think, mods. What do you think of that idea? Punchy paints and Kayla's Aquatics and candy overhauls. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm just going to wait a second for the mods to chime in and say, Dan, you're crazy, or we've already got too much going on. There's no way we can have another task added right now. Or, hey, Dan, that's a great idea. Let's do it. I don't know what they'll say. So let's just give them a moment. While I'm waiting, Rockin' Fish, did you get the pipefish and the glassfish? No, I did not. So everything that was on the invoice I received, which is good, but everything in the order was not received. So Punchy Paint says she thinks that will work for feeding me questions and comments. Okay, let me see what Candy and Kayla's Aquatics say as well, because I think we kind of need everybody on board in order to try something like that. And again, it might totally be that it's like, no, we cannot handle more. Let's see. Oh, Skipper, hey, there you are, Skipper's Aquariums. Okay, cool. Glad you could join us. All right, we've got 2 out of 4. Just waiting for Candy and Bob's vote here. So when I place the order, there's a difference between placing the order and then getting invoiced, right? So I expect usually when I place an order to not get everything, but usually when I'm invoiced, I don't get everything either. But in this case, I got almost everything, so it was pretty cool. All right, whatever you wish, says Candy. Okay, so that's 3 out of 4. I think that's good enough. Bob might be away from the computer right now or something. So, okay, let's try that. So, mods, I'm going to stay down here at the bottom of the chat, and I'll just wait for you guys to feed questions and comments to me. Just make them at Dan's Fish, and I'll keep an eye out for them. Let's see if that works better or not. I don't know if it will, but let's see how it goes. While we're waiting, Lefty says, I'm loving these wild bettas already. Everyone is doing great and already eating their Hikari bloodworms. Awesome, Lefty. I'm glad that they came in and that they're doing well for you. Scott Backer says, don't sound so enthusiastic, Candy. Yeah, was that a whatever you wish, or was that an as you wish? We'll see. All right. And while it's going to take them a little while to kind of build up to that, I think. So while we're waiting, I am going to scroll up for a minute or two. Actually, I'll get to the super chats while we're waiting. Let's see here. Chattanooga Ed, as he does, is punching me in the face with his $5 Foxcat. Ed, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you. T-Shot, no comment. He just wanted to punch me in the face for a bit, which who doesn't? T-Shot, $5. Hey, Dan, happy wife, happy life. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? What's your go-to water dechlorinator? Thanks for all that you do for the hobby. Keep it up. Will do, T-Shot. My go-to dechlorinator is none, because I have a big carbon block filter. So the water comes into my pipes, and it goes... Can I show you this? Let's see if we can see it. See those big blue, these hanging from the ceiling. This one and this one. Those are 2 carbon block filters. They're both stuffed full of activated carbon, and those suck the chlorine out of my water pipes before it gets fed to the fish tank. So that's how I do it. And before that, honestly, I would just use whatever was cheapest. I don't know if there's a big difference between them. The one that I'd probably use now if I needed it is Seachem Safe, just because it's so concentrated that a tiny bit lasts forever. I have a jar of Seachem Safe that's about this big that I've had for I don't know, 2 years, 2.5 years. I use it in my shipping water, and it just lasts forever. You just need a tiny bit. All right, Moonstone Aquatics, very good idea, and you won't be behind anymore. Great idea. Well, we'll see if it works. Yeah, it might be that we do it for today or next week or whatever, and then the mods are like, whew, let's not do that anymore, or we have to change something. But here's the first one. Candy overholes from Herp Diversity. Are they pure Matinensis? Yes. Do they have the long fin? Because I know a lot don't because of hybridization. Yes, so my source for these rainbow fish is the guy that goes and collects the rainbow fish. So, yes, he's a rainbow fish nerd, and he writes articles on them. If you read Amazonas Magazine, you've read lots of articles with this guy. And yeah, it's not just like a random fish farm like we're used to. This is a guy that actually collects pure stock from nature, or works with collectors that do, and has pure lines. So did I collect them and keep them and make sure that there was never any hybridization? No. So can I say that 100%? No, because I wasn't there. But as far as the reputation goes and the caliber of this person who is the source for these rainbow fish, I'm confident to say that they are absolutely 100% pure. And the source is trusted enough that, like, Gary Lang will buy rainbow fish source from this person, and so will lots of other rainbow fish nerds. So yeah, they are pure. As pure as anyone could guarantee in this industry. Rick Stidham, are the Forshii eating flakes? Yes, the Betta Forshii are eating flakes and pellets and frozen and everything. In fact, all the wild type bettas I currently have listed for sale are eating literally anything I put in the tank. They're not picky at all. Okay, just staying at the bottom here, looking for some. I've got to train myself. I'm so used to doing this differently. So let me train myself real quick and just go to Punchy Paints. The Betta Bellica, do they have aggression in grow out tanks? So I've never had aggression issues with Betta Bellica, but I've never kept them like in a small tank with just two where they could key in on each other. When I keep wild type bettas, I like to keep them in large groups. They're in a 75-gallon aquarium. There's 50 of them in a 75-gallon aquarium, kind of same as the other times I've kept them. And there's plants in there and spawning mops and lots of pipes on the bottom. So a group helps, because if there is aggression, it spreads it out. Plants and decorations and all that help, because then there's line of sight blocks. If someone's getting picked on, they can disappear into a pipe or behind a plant or whatever. But so that's the setups I keep them in, and I've never noticed aggression with Betta Bellica. I would say it's a pretty peaceful betta, for sure. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Punchy Paints at Dan's Fish. If you could only have one species of mouth-breeding betta, which one would you pick? I have successfully bred bubble nesters and raised fry, but wanted to try mouth brooders. Thanks. Okay, let's see. Oh, you can't do that to me. I can't pick one. I guess I would go with the first one I ever did, which is Betta chinoides. For pure nostalgic reasons. They're beautiful, they're hardy, they're easy to breed, they're easy to raise because the babies are big enough to eat baby brine shrimp from the get-go. Peaceful, only get about, maybe around 2 inches or so. And they were the first one I did. So for pure nostalgic reasons, that's probably the one I would choose. But someone else that they don't have that nostalgia with that species, perhaps, then there's no reason to pick that one. There's so many nice ones. But that entire complex, rubra, chinoides, alba marginata, all those, hardy, peaceful, beautiful, and easy in my experience. With the exception of one little thing. I've never gotten wild-caught rubra, chinoides, or alba marginata to eat flakes or pellets. Now, maybe other people have, and I hope so. I always have to keep them on live and frozen until I get the first batch. If I raise them up, I can train the babies to eat flakes and pellets, and it's no problem, and rapashi and all that stuff. But the wild bettas, when they first come in, of that particular clade or tribe or whatever they're called, that group, the chinoides, rubra, alba marginata type group, yeah, I can't get the wilds going on prepared foods. Don't know why. Okay, punchy paints. We will have to train ourselves as well. Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a learning curve for all of us, I think. And, you know, we'll see how it goes. Let's see, I'm at the bottom. Let's see if I missed anyone. That'll be the challenge as well. If it's too much work for the mods to actually moderate and select questions and comments for me, it just might not be practical. Like, I can totally understand that. So I'm waiting for the next one to be fed to me. In the meantime, I'm just going to go up and grab one so we don't have dead air. Sandy, is that Docty? I'm going to say Docty. Could be Dowdy. What are the yellow fish with the red in the tank behind you? So these are Roseline Barbs or Denison Barbs. They're the gold form. So they're kind of like a, I don't know how you describe them. They're not quite leucistic because some of them do get some brown pigment on them. But yeah, they have a lot less melanin than most of them. So as you can see, there is some on some of them, but I'm loving them. Bright gold, bright orange, like really pretty fish. And I'm happy to say I was able to buy them from the person who developed that strain and bred them. So I'm getting kind of original strain stock, which is kind of cool. Punchy paints. From Orange Cones, anything you would recommend to add hatchetfish and headstanders as a centerpiece fish? Okay, so you got a tank of hatchetfish and headstanders, which is a brilliant idea, by the way, because the hatchets will stay at the top and not bother the headstanders, and the headstanders will feed off the bottom, and you're not going to get competition, so that's pretty cool. So what we would be looking for in that case is something that would stay kind of in the middle, but not be so fast to the food that the hatchets wouldn't get any, because, or I'm sorry, not the hatchets, the headstanders. Because how headstanders feed is they pick all day long. And you know this, I'm just saying this for other people that haven't kept them. And they kind of have to graze a lot for long periods of time in order to really fill their bellies. So if you put some food in there and there's a bunch of fish eating it and it's gone in a few minutes, the challenge there is those headstanders aren't going to get that food that sticks around for an hour or so that they can just graze off to really fill up, which is what I think they really need. So the challenge is a centerpiece fish that won't just devour all the food really quickly. Something that kind of picks and grazes. That is a challenge. I am not coming up with anything. What would go well with headstanders and kind of be big like a showpiece? That's what I think of when you say centerpiece fish. Okay, hive mind needs some help. A kind of centerpiece fish that grazes, that won't outcompete a really slow feeding fish. Let me know what you got, because I know there's some, but they aren't popping to mind. Candy Overhauls from Dan Heater. What is your treatment for curing dropsy? Well, Dan, I wish there was one. In my experience, have I ever treated dropsy? I don't know if I've ever treated it successfully. I've had a couple cases reversed, but it was kind of like pure chance, I think. So dropsy is not a disease. It's an indication of a severe issue. But in itself, it's a symptom, not a disease. What it means is a couple things. It means either an internal organ, like the liver or something, is very badly infected and so swollen that the fish bows out in pine cones. Or it can mean that they're losing osmotic regulation. They're in such poor shape, they're so sick that they can no longer keep fresh water out of their body. And that fresh water has just entered their body cavity in such a high volume that it's swollen them out like a balloon. In both those cases, you've got some kind of underlying issue which is very severe in order for a fish to get to that point. So it's not a case of there's a disease called dropsy, how do I treat it? It could be a liver infection, could be osmotic regulation, could be any internal organ that's kind of failing and causing a swell up through, causing the rest of the fish to react in that way. And yeah, I don't have anything for you. I'm sorry. I wish I did. What I will say is what I think the best chance you would have via a medicine is, and keep in mind I'm not a veterinarian or anything, but would probably be the go-to antibiotic for me, which is nitrofurazone and kanamycin. And the reason is they work together in a synergy, which is helpful, and kanamycin is easily absorbed into the inside of the fish internally via gills and probably skin as well, if I remember right. So you need an antibiotic if you're trying to treat dropsy, which will get inside the fish to treat the infection. But it could also be that it's a virus that is causing these organ issues, and an antibiotic won't help against a virus. So if there's a virus that is doing something inside the fish so severely that it's just breaking down, basically the fish is falling apart inside, more or less. I know that's gruesome, but severe organ damage, then antibiotics aren't gonna do anything for it. So that's my thoughts on dropsy. I wish I had a cure for you. Dowdy, Sandy Dowdy, thank you, Sandy, I appreciate it. I hope I remember. Please don't be offended if in the future I forget that, but Sandy Dowdy. All right, let me get back down. There were some others in here that mods are feeding me. Hey, Bentley, good to see you. The Friedrichi, they're doing pretty darn good, so I think I'm going to give them one extra week, though, Bentley, because the Melanotaenia Friedrichi were in that box that was delayed until Monday, and so I'm going to give them an extra week. So let's say middle of next week or next weekend, they'll be ready to go. And I don't have a count off the top of my head. Their tank's just a little too far for me to glance over and actually see for you. Punchy Paints, Swampy Acres Homestead. How often do you have to change your water in a 10-gallon a week to keep the levels low? Okay, so what I'm getting from that is that you have a 10-gallon tank and you want to change the water once a week, and you're wondering how much? No, how often? Okay, not exactly sure what the question is, but if you're changing water in a 10-gallon once a week, I don't know, 30% can't hurt. There's all kinds of things. What's the bio load? What's the filtration? How many plants do you have? Or how quickly are the plants growing? How much do you feed? Are you an overfeeder, an underfeeder? What kinds of foods do you feed? So there's a bajillion different factors. But in general, I think something that works as a rule of thumb in pretty much any aquarium that's normally stocked and normally maintained and normally fed and all that, normally filtered, if there is a normal, let's pretend there is, or I can't answer this, is 25 to 30%, and if you do that once a week, that can't hurt. That would be, in general, a pretty clean tank. So that's my thoughts based on the information that I understood out of that question. I don't know exactly what levels you're trying to keep low, but if you're talking about just general aquarium health, that's a starting point. All right. Candy, thank you for pulling Bentley's question, and sorry I just went straight to it. I'm still training myself. This is brand new. Skipper's Aquariums, Don Gallagher asks, Festivum, centerpiece fish? Festivum might be good. They're so quick to the food though, right? So to feed spotted headstanders, my strategy is I've got them in right now with, they were hatchet fish, sold out of the hatchet fish. Now they're in with the Celebes half-beaks. And the Celebes kind of eat towards the surface. So I put in flakes for the Celebes, and then I throw in sinking pellets for the headstanders. And that's not a bad thought, the Festivum. The trick would be to just make sure that the Festivum has a big thing of food he can be working on for a while, so that the headstanders, honestly, they're going to need 15 minutes, half an hour of just solid pecking at a pellet before they get enough food. They're slow feeders, so that's a better option than anything I thought of, Don. So it's moving in the right direction. If anyone else has any ideas, something really slow feeding. You know what might work, now that I think of it, is some kind of a mammyrid. One of the smaller mammyrids, Those are like baby dolphins and elephant nose and things like that. If you're an experienced fish keeper, and I know you are, they're going to be pretty picky. They're only going to really want frozen and live foods. So that might be something. If you can find a picky fish that only wants frozen or live foods or something like that, and so you feed frozen and live foods, everybody eats, but then you drop in some sinking pellets, and the mammarid isn't going to be interested in those, then the head standers would get enough dwell time with the food to eat it successfully. So that might be the way to go. I just realized I forgot my glass of water. Oh boy. I was like, I need a drink, and I went to reach for it, and it's like not there. Oh no. All right, we're going to keep going. See how this goes. Killers Aquatics throwing down $4.99, saying, keep it up. Will do, Killers Aquatics. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate the super chat. Never required, always appreciated, and as you know, it makes the wife super happy. Skipper's Aquariums, DC Kyle asks, when you open the new warehouse, are you planning to order larger quantities of what you normally bring in, or are you planning to stock even more variety of fish and or plants too? So the plan is to do more variety, not more of each type. So I will bring in, like, let's say I typically bring in 20 rainbows. I would still bring in 20 rainbows, but I could bring in, instead of 30 species at a time, I could bring in 60 species at a time or something like that. But probably not more quantity. Now, if there's a fish that I perpetually sell out of continually, then I'd be an idiot not to order twice as many, right? So there might be a few species that I do order more of, but that'll be determined by demand. But in general, the goal is to be able to offer more types of fish instead of buying, 300 of a certain species of rainbow at once. So that's the plan, and that's a good question. As far as plants, I have no plans to get into plants. One day, maybe I'll get into plants. One day, maybe I'll get into dry goods. One day, maybe I'll get into that kind of stuff. But that's not even on the radar right now. I've got plenty of work to do to sell live freshwater fish well in a scalable way and actually scale that business. Now, if that ever gets to the point where it's like fully scaled and I'm like twiddling my thumbs in the corner because I'm bored because it's just going so smoothly, like if that ever happened, and I'm like, hey, I need another project, then maybe I start thinking about plants or dry goods or something. But that's not my business model at all. None of the projections, none of the equipment or facilities I'm building right now or planning have anything to do with plants or dry goods. So it really is just fish right now. Punchy Paints. Oh, it jumped. Wait, can't even keep up when the mods are feeding me. Punchy Paints from Nord Aquatics. Some sort of gourami or paradise fish for the headstanders. Could be. In my experience, the paradise fish and gouramis are like that to the food. They're very aggressive eaters. Unless we're talking about maybe like little licorice gouramis, but then they're not big enough to be a centerpiece. But I like where your mind's going, because they're not like rainbow shiners or rainbow fish or something that are just zipping like torpedoes for the food. They are, even though they see food, they get excited and go for it, they are slower than a lot of those other species. So I see where your head is at. Maybe like if you got one pearl gourami in there, it's still going to go down. Well, yeah, okay. So here's another thing that might help with this scenario is if you did get, like, let's say one pearl gourami and you fed 2 large pellets, like a massive or sinking pellet or something like that, or a large algae wafer or something, that the gourami is going to have to eat for a while. If you put 2 in on opposite sides of the tank, the gourami will go for 1, but there's no way it's going to be able to do both. So as long as it's big enough that the gourami really has to work at it, then yeah, something like that could work. And that could be the same with like a electric blue acara or anything really. You could only kind of have one, though, because if you ever got two of them, then they could, you know what I mean? Or if you got two, you'd have to put in 3 piles of food, I guess. Yeah, that might be a way to manage it. Moonstone Aquatic Centerpiece, though. Oh, sorry. Moonstone, thank you, but I've got to stick with the mod thing. I've got to stick with the new system. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to discipline myself. Skipper's Aquariums, just a suggestion. Take a break and do the first giveaway. All right. When my mods speak, I listen. Let's do the first giveaway. So this is from... It didn't do it. There we go. Absolute Aquatics is providing 2 $25 gift certificates. This is what happens when I forget my glass of water for tonight's giveaway. Thank you so much, Trayson. Appreciate it. And we're going to draw the first $25 right now. So the winner is Koi Fish. Koi Fish, you have won a $25 gift certificate. Gift certificate. Why is that so hard? To Dan's Fish from Absolute Aquatics. Congratulations. You've got a little under a minute to just let us know that you are here, and because you do have to be present to win. So that's the first one. We'll do the other one in a little bit. All right, let's see. Come on down, Koi Fish. You are a winner if you type in chat. So come on down. There you are. Hey, Koi Fish. There you are. Congratulations. And again, thanks to Absolute Aquatics for doing that. And Koi Fish, if you would email me, dan@dansfish.com yeah, that's all I need. I'll email you a gift certificate for $25 provided by Absolute Aquatics. So that was fun. Cool. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go back up to the mod feed here. Let's see. Where was I at? I was at Skipper's Aquarium saying take a break and do a drawing. So now, candy overhauls from Rick May. When the warehouse is running, are you shutting down the basement and annex tanks? Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I need to give my wife back her garage because there's nothing like scraping ice off your windshield at 30 below or colder here in Wyoming on a winter morning. And we want to build a studio in the basement. So my wife is a podcaster and an author and a musician. So she needs a place where she can record her podcast, record her music, and things like that. My kids are both YouTubers. I'm a YouTuber, so we plan to turn this basement area into a place we can all do good work, nice soundproofing, good lighting, a decent background, you know, all that stuff. Kind of up our game in those areas. So, yep, it's all moving. And also just for efficiency, like, if we have to run to different locations, it's bad enough just having a basement and a garage. Like, I have to carry big boxes up, get all the fish, put them in, carry them back down the stairs. Like, it's just not efficient. So just for efficiency's sake, having everything together is pretty important. In fact, this whole thing is designed for efficiency. In an early draft, I had these work tables like over in a corner so I could have longer rows so that I could fit more tanks. But someone made a good point. They're like, hey, if your work tables are in the center, then when you're going to buy fish, you move less, you walk less distance. And so that's going to greatly increase the efficiency of the design. So I added that in, added some other things as we go, just trying to make it the most efficient place to work. And having several locations is going to be a problem for that. John's Fish, what about a chocolate gourami for centerpiece fish? Yes! Yes! When I was thinking gouramis, I don't know why, but I automatically went to like paradise fish and dwarf gouramis and stuff like that. I didn't even think about chocolate gouramis. But yes, chocolate gouramis and samurai gouramis would make excellent centerpiece fishing with headstanders. That, John, is a perfect solution. Yes. Absolutely. I think that's right. Slow eaters, not really quick, really pretty, really unique. Yeah. So far, that's the winner. Orange cones. I feed headstanders. Oh, can't do it. Sorry, orange cones. I'm gonna stick with the new system. Punchy paints. from John Doe. I plan on setting up 2 planted 55-gallon tanks. How many sponge filters and what air pump is kind of quiet to run both tanks? So John Doe, I would go to Gemco and buy their big Chorus Pro sponge filter. That's what I use in my 75 gallons. That's what I use down here in this 100-gallon down here with all these Corys and Plecos in it. And I got 4 of them down there, but if you do just, it depends too if you have plants and all that stuff. But I think you could start with 1 sponge filters in the large size from Gemco without any problem. Let me show you the one I'm talking about. So this is Gemco, for those that don't know. The worst website in the world, but the best company. So the website sucks, but their stuff is awesome. So let me see if I can find real quick filtration, and we're looking for hydro sponge filters, and there's one here. Yes, this one, the HP. This is the big boy that I use all the time. I like it because A, it's big, but B, it's a really porous foam, so it doesn't clog real quick. And it's just, of all the sponge filters I've tried, that's the one I like the best. Now, Aquarium Co-op has sponge filters too. The only reason I didn't mention them first is because I'm not as familiar with them, because I bought all my sponge filters before Aquarium Co-op started selling theirs. But I like Aquarium Co-op, and I like supporting them when I can. So if they have a large mega sponge filter and it's in the Chorus foam, and I think his sponge filters are in the Chorus foam, that might be the place to check. So Candy Overhauls can probably set us straight on that one, and let us know if they've got a big one. But I don't know for sure. I know that Cory oftentimes will just stock a few items that will serve most people instead of trying to get it every item that there is available, because only a few people will want the biggest sponge filters. So I'm not sure if they sell them or not. But if they do, that's another place you could look. But keep in mind, you want the Pro or Chorus sponge, in my humble opinion. Okay, chat jumped. Man, I'm having trouble keeping up even when I am doing it this way. But I'm going to keep going. We're going to keep trying. I'm doing better, I think. Doing better. Skipper's Aquariums from Wichita Falls. Hey, Wichita, good to see you. Do you have a plan on bringing in any more plecos? Do you ever see the Queen Arabesque? Yes. Yes to both those things. So, I tried 1 species. It went really well. Now I'm trying a 2nd species, the L14. Sunshine, I think is what they're called. Going really well. So, next time I order, I'll probably order like 3 species and see how they go. But so far, so good. So I do plan on going with some plecos. Yes, I'm liking them a lot. Mikey Trevor was right. That's Mile High Plecos. From Wichita Falls. Oh, okay. Looks like we double dipped there. We got Punchy and Skipper's Aquarium. So I'm going to keep going. Oh, wait. Let's see here. Waiting for a mod to feed me one. There's one from Candy via Chevy Fish. We will wait while you go get your water. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I can last another half an hour. But thank you. If it gets really bad, I say as my throat feels scratchy, then I'll go do it. But thanks. I appreciate it. Kansas Aquatics, sorry I've been driving for the past hour. Oh, no worry, no worry. Highlighting and copy paste does not work on a phone. Home now, so I can help. All right, Bob. Hey, no worries. You do plenty around here and many other channels as well, Bob. So drive away. No problems. Punch Baits from Michael Machos. My albino cat had babies. Your video was helpful. I'm glad to hear that. And enjoy them. There's nothing as fun as a bunch of tiny little Corydoras clowning around. They're a ton of fun. And they grow super fast, so enjoy them while they're itty bitty. It won't last long. But I'm glad to hear that, Michael. I'm glad it helped out, and congrats. Cigars all around. Killers Aquatics from Brian Klimaszewski. I think what I'm going to try to do is just say the name of the person who posted the question, not the mod, because we all know who the mods are. Any plans to set up some tanks still with any fry from your import? Not yet. I mean, before I started on the warehouse project, I was working 14 to 20 hours a day easy. Now that I've added the warehouse project to my plate, I'm finding it difficult to keep up with everything. So I found a few efficiencies, so I made my time a little more efficient, but there aren't that many efficiencies left to find. I've been finding efficiencies like my entire time doing this business. So there's not that much more I can cut out. And so things are just falling by the wayside, like my fruit fly cultures. Just been so darn busy that this is the first time in years that I'm out of fruit fly cultures, because I got so busy that I didn't renew the cultures. And so I fed them all out. They got old. They kind of died out. And usually I renew them and start a new culture before that happens. But things like that are already happening. And so there's no way I can add breeding projects to the current load. Just no way. The priority has to be just maintaining and keeping the fish I already have healthy and taking care of the customers. Anything extraneous to that is kind of being put by the side right now, so that anytime I have beyond that, I can work on the warehouse. It's just a massive project. My hope is that we can get the warehouse going, the business up and running. This won't be overnight, but my hope is that given time, we can build the business to the point and get the right people in the right positions, so that it's its own kind of self-regulating organism that doesn't take all my time. In which case, what I would love to do down here in the studio is set up some aquariums and do detailed, in-depth breeding videos for people of all kinds of species, from selection of the breeders to the conditioning to spawning to raising the fry, all the way on up till the fry are decent sized. That's what I really want to do. That's what I would like to share with everybody, instead of just videos of here's the fish I have for sale, which is fun too, but not my true love. What I really would like to do, if I could make any video anytime, is detailed videos of spawning from start to finish. Because there's lots of videos out there, but usually you get one little piece. It's like, oh, the fish are spawning, let's take a quick video of it. But you miss out on a lot of the important stuff, like how do you hatch the eggs? How do you raise the babies? All that stuff. So one day I'd like to get to the point where I am set up for breeding again, because that's my true passion in the hobby, is breeding, and do that work that I want to do, videoing all that stuff. But that's going to be a while. And by the way, I'm very much enjoying the business too. I like business, and I like fish, and I love feeling like we're making a difference, and I think we are. There's lots of people that are now shipping fish better than they ever have before. There's lots of people that are prepping fish for shipping better, and I think that we're tiny still, but even at this size, I feel like I know we're making an impact, because I have reports from people that sell fish and do it, and it works, and so they make it their own. They might not do my exact process, but it's a starting point for them, and just the awareness that there are better ways to do it and the emphasis on it, I think, is spreading. And so I feel like we are making a difference. So that's very rewarding. It's not as fun as breeding fish, but it's something that I enjoy. But Brian, when I can, I'll get back to breeding seriously and doing all that. But I absolutely cannot do anything else at this time. Yeah. Oh, wait. Did a mod not feed me that? Did I break my rule? Oh, no. Corydoras Aquatics did feed me that. I was a good boy. From Rockford Fish Keeping, those Pro 5s are made by ATI. I use them also. They're great. Co-ops are just green color ATIs. Oh, okay, great. So as long as if you can find them in the big size from the co-op, then those would work for you. Good to know. All right. Candy overholes. Oh, I'm trying to just not say the mod's name, because that'll get old, I think, if I repeat the mod's name over and over. Okay, here we go. I'm fairly new to the hobby. Well, welcome. And about a week ago, I noticed that one of my Kubotai Botia loaches is having random jumps, and I don't know what to do. It's almost like it has an inner parasite. Well, couple of questions for you. Okay, I'm not going to be able to pinpoint what the problem is based on that description, because any loach that feels uncomfortable or skittish is going to act weird. Loaches act weird. Like, they do weird things. They'll lay on their side, they'll go upside down, they're what we call loachy. They're just funky fish. But from what you're describing, that's a behavior that you can notice from any loach that just doesn't feel settled in or comfortable. So a couple things. First, is it a new tank and a new fish in that tank? If he just hasn't been in there very long, then it could just be it needs more settling in time. Also, loaches need places to hide to feel secure. So they'll need little crevices that they can go, squeeze into. The tighter the better, as long as they can get into it. You can do that with rock work, you can do that with PVC pipes, you can do that with anything, little caves and stuff, but they do need somewhere. In the wild, they're going to be often hanging out in little crevices or deep in the leaf litter and things like that, in hollow logs, things like that. So they need somewhere to be able to get away. If they don't have that, and don't have several of them, then they'll feel uncomfortable. Another thing with loaches is they're gregarious. Loaches, especially Botia kubutai, need to be in a group, and the bigger the better. Like a group of 12 would be spectacular. A group of 6 is adequate, but they do need companions, and they will act uncomfortable without it. So those are some things to think of. Now, could it be an internal parasite? Yes. Is the fish flashing? Is it like swimming up to things and like skidding against them? Just if here's a rock, does the fish go against the rock and try to rub its skin on the rock? If so, then it could be an external parasite, in which case 2 good places to start are Mardel Quick Cure or ICX and Prazi Quantal, Prazi Pro, or whatever form you get it in. Those really help with external parasites quite a bit. So if that's what you mean by random jumps, then I would treat for external parasites. But it could be just uncomfortable, could be external parasites, could be that you have a filter or a heater or something that's leaking electricity into the aquarium somehow, and the loach is getting a little electronic zap or something too. There's a million things it could be. So I don't know how to pinpoint it exactly, but those are my thoughts, Charlie, when I hear about what you're saying there. But it's impossible for me to pinpoint just based on a comment. But welcome to the hobby. Glad you're here. And if we can help you further, we're here to help. Okay. Peeps Lost Sheep. What a great username. Peeps Lost Sheep. Suggestions for dwarf shrimp safe centerpiece fish to go with a chili rasbora. Doesn't have to be large fish. I'm particularly fond of nanofish in a 55-gallon planted. Okay, so in a 55-gallon planted with shrimp, as long as they're not baby shrimp, then I feel like I really love a giant school of threadfin rainbows. They're fantastic. They're beautiful, and they would go well with chili rasboras. The only caveat there is threadfin rainbows are micropredators, and they love feeding on baby shrimp. So if there's baby shrimp on the glass and things, they'll seek them out and pick them off. But almost any fish is going to eat baby shrimp, so I assume that's the same with chili rasboras and stuff. So I would say if you want a centerpiece and it's a nano fish, a large group of threadfin rainbows, that's hard to beat. That's really beautiful. So that's one thought. Master photographer, can Pseudomugil cyanodorsalis be kept and bred in fresh water? I love their look, but I have a heavily planted tank, so I'm not looking to go brackish. So, master photographer, I don't have personal experience with cyanodorsalis, but from everything I've heard and the people that do have experience, I would not keep them in fresh water. I think you're going to have issues if they're not in brackish water. Now, anyone here that's been keeping Cyanodorsalis for years in fresh water with no problems and is on like their 5th generation, please feel free to correct me. But I don't believe, Master Photographer, from what I've been able to glean from people that do keep them, that fresh water is the way to go. Jerry Serple Morris. Oops, sorry, Jerry. I'm going to get to the mods. I gotta stick with the system here. Candy Overhauls. How do you initially start your business? How did you start your business? Was it a plan in the beginning or a hobby that you realized you could scale? Is there a video on this, or would you make a video in the future? So I did not plan to do this as a living ever. I planned to do it as a major hobby, like have a big fish room and breed fish and have fun, for sure, for my entire life. And I've been doing that, honestly, since I was, 13 years old, let's say. The summer between 6th and 7th grade. By the end of that year, I had, I think, 50 aquariums in my parents' basement. They were very tolerant folks. So I always was very interested in it, but I was hesitant to turn it into a living for 2 reasons. One, I loved theater, and I knew I could make a living in theater and in academia. So from the time I was in high school, my plan was to be a theater professor, because I loved theater and I wanted the stability of a professorship, because I wanted to have kids and benefits and all that stuff. It's a good job. It doesn't pay really well. It pays decently, but you're not going to get rich being a professor, but you'll have a steady life and be able to have a family, and you get summers off so you can vacation with your kids and stuff. And kids have always been very important to me. I knew from early on I wanted to have kids, and I wanted to spend time with them and be tight with them. So that's why I went that way. What I found, though, is, during my whole life I've kept fish. Even during my schooling and while I was a professor, I had lots of fish. What I found is I didn't like being a professor as much as I liked keeping fish. And so it just wasn't something that really drew me, which sucks after 10 years of higher education to get the degrees you need to become a professor, to then become one and realize, oh, this isn't as much fun as I thought. And it's basically, I'm a self-starter. I see an opportunity, I want to go for it. And with being a professor, there's so much red tape. You can't just go do something. There are many levels of administration you have to go through before anything can happen, before any change can be made whatsoever in your program or your curriculum or the kinds of plays you want to do or whatever, getting new facilities that you need to grow, whatever it is. And I found that endlessly frustrating. I'm the kind of guy that if I'm not progressing, if there's stagnation, I get bored very quickly. So that was kind of the thing where I was like, well, I'm not enjoying this. I'm kind of, towards the end, dreading getting out of bed and going to do this. And that's not fair for my students. That's not fair for anybody. So someone who likes this kind of system should be in that position, not me. And by then, I was doing a decent business as a hobbyist. So I was selling fish as a side gig, kind of hobby / business, but really just as a side gig that I enjoyed doing, breeding fish, selling fish, importing some stuff, but mostly just as a hobby. But then I realized I didn't like being a professor as much as I thought I would. And I know I like fish. I've been doing it since I was a kid. I was like, I'm not going to get bored of fish. It's what I want to do. Like when I'm off, in my job that I'm not enjoying, what I'm dreaming about is fish. And I can't wait to get back home and start working with them again. So it just kind of naturally morphed into, that's what I'm going to do. And I knew that I could. I've run lots of, if you can develop and manage and run a theater festival, like a professional theater festival, and deal with the agents and the fundraising and the patrons and the audience and it's like planning a wedding, but planning 12 weddings at once. It's a huge logistical undertaking. If you can do that, if you can produce theater, if you can deal in that space, and I was like, if I can do that, I can figure out how to do a fish business that works. And so I switched. So that's kind of what it was. It's but really it's hobby first. If you don't have a true burning passion for this, it's like I'm Fabio or something. I can't believe it's not butter. If you don't have this true passion for it, though, don't start, because I was serious when I said 14 to 20 hour days, like just working. Take a break to see the kids real quick when they get home from school, and then try to get them to come down and help me. Like, filters need changing, kids, you know, something like that, so I can spend some time with them. But it really does take almost everything that you've got. And so if you don't have the passion, there's no way you're going to stick with it. The work is too hard, too long, and the payoff too deferred, if you're talking financial payoff, for it to be worth it. So that's my thoughts on that. So I've done videos on the business. In fact, if you look at live streams and past videos, I talk about every aspect of the business almost. But I probably won't do a specific video on exactly how it started, but that's the story. That's the story. Nurse Beckus, hello Nurse Beckus, welcome. Throwing down, oh, this is not the lemon with the maracas, this is the lemon with love in her heart for me. Thank you, Nurse Beckus. Mwah, right back at you. And thanks for the super chat, $9.99, always appreciated, never required, but it does make the wife super happy. And I missed another one. There we are. Kayla's Aquatics throwing down $4 for me. Oh, a glass of water. Thank you. Kayla's Aquatics has provided a mug of water or hot chocolate or something for me. Thanks, Bob. I am kind of thirsty right now, but I can push through the last 12 minutes here without breaking to get a drink. No worries. Okay, let me scroll back up. Here we go. Candy. Hi, I treated my 75-gallon with ICX tonight and plan on doing a 30% water change tomorrow. Should I give another full? Yes. So with ICX or Mardel Quick Cure, treat, do the water change, and then treat the full amount. Those chemicals do have a half-life, so that medicine does dissipate over time. So yes, do the full dose. And I've never had a problem with that. And, you know, I'll treat up to 10 days, sometimes 14 days straight, just to make sure it's cleared out of the system. And I don't have a problem doing the full dose daily with the water change between doses. Now, I say that, and for some reason it won't work for you, but that is how I do that. And that is the instructions as I recall on the bottle as well. Absolute Aquatics, I've broke that 50 subscriber mark. Awesome. Congrats. That's awesome, Absolute Aquatics. Glad we could help you out. So for those that don't know, Absolute Aquatics is the gentleman, Trayson, who provided the giveaway for tonight. So he did $50 worth of gift cards, gift certificates to Dan's Fish. Thanks again. Helping me in two ways, buying from my store and doing a giveaway. So that's awesome. I'm double dipping. And so he provided that, and we drew one of them, and we will draw another one soon here, soon. But glad we could help you out. Punchy Paints, I'm going to stop doing the mod name, sorry. John Doe, you forgot to mention a quiet air pump. Oh, sorry. I did forget that. I don't have one. I've been out of the air pump market for years. I've used central air pumps for over a decade now, or more actually. I just have not bought a small air pump unit in forever. The one brand from back in the day, so this could have changed, that I remember working well and being fairly quiet, like just a little pump for a single tank or two, were the Dolphin brand. That's Woo Brothers air pump. Let's see if they still exist. Is it Wan Brothers? Not Woo Brothers, sorry. Wan Brothers air pump. Okay, let's see if we can find one here. So here it is, the Dolphin, yeah. So these Dolphin pumps from Wan Brothers were always my preferred pump until I went into central air pumps. Now, it's been over 10 years. There could be better pumps out there, but that's what I remember from back in the day. What Kayla's Aquatics throwing down? $50. All right. Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate it so much. And we have the, I believe, the dude version of Pippi Longstocking. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. From Rockford Fish Keeping, the 55-gallon planted tank Adlimias, they are great with a mono shrimp. Okay, that's an idea. With a mono, sure. I think Limias can be a little bit hard, though, on small, like your typical cherry shrimp, crystal red shrimp, things like that. But if it's working for you, that's good to know. Nurse Beckus, would Corey's Lil Nano air pump run one of those larger sponges? They're super quiet. Cool. So I've never used, again, I haven't used individual air pumps for a long time, many years. So I'm not familiar with that pump, but that might be an option. So it sounds like they're quiet, so worth checking out. Nano air pump. Okay. From Charlie Barton, thanks. I will start dosing ICX and will keep you updated. Second question, in the same tank, I have cardinal tetras. About every 2 weeks, one will go away from the school and starve out. Okay, so I know what you're talking about. I'm familiar with it. So this is why sometimes it takes 3-4 months before I'll start selling a fish I bring in. Because sometimes they'll go through that. You get a group of fish in, and they're pretty good, but there's every few days or whatever, there's one that goes off and turns to the wall and stops eating and passes away in a day or two. Could be anything. Could be a parasite, could be bacterial, could be a virus, could be anything. So often I never know what it is. Often it's just a matter of literally months until that stops, everyone's settled in, everyone's immune system is back up to the point where they can combat whatever's causing it, and everyone gets fat and happy, and there's no deaths for over a month, and I'm like, okay, now I can sell these. But I wish, Charlie, that I knew what that was. I have a feeling it could be many different things, and each time it happens, I don't know which of the 10 dozen things it could be that it is. But sometimes I try all the various meds, nothing works, and then I just have to take time. Usually, they end up settling and stabilizing. Sometimes it takes months, though. Sometimes they don't. Every now and then there's a group of fish that literally I'll just gradually lose. And it could be over the course of a year, and then I'm down to the last one. So that's a hard one for me to answer. I wish... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the super chat sticker that Kayla's Aquatics just posted, because he's right. That's the male version of Pippi Longstocking. This. Here we go. This is the male version of Pippi Longstocking, not to be confused with my mistake, this one, which is the, I don't know, unisex version, I guess. I don't want to get myself in trouble here. Okay, let's look for a couple more, but we are getting towards the end here. So I'll do that in a little bit. So Rockford Fish Keeping is recommending a Whisper or Gemco. Okay, good to know. Yeah, I like Gemco. I would check there as well. Gemco has really good stuff. And I have used their diaphragm pumps, and they were very quiet, but they were big. I think each diaphragm pump I had powered like 15 tanks or something. But they do sell, provide smaller ones as well. Okay, from Jerry Serple Morris, thanks. It's always interesting to hear how people were able to turn their passion into a career. Hey, you're welcome. Yeah, it's, I'm glad it's happening. I'm loving it. I have to tell you, it's long hours. I'm really tired a lot of the time. Like, I'm literally exhausted right now. I'm just beyond tired. There's so much to do. But I'm super happy. Like, even though I'm tired, it's pretty amazing. Pro gaming, knock it off, man. Jeez. Jeez. Yeah, there was the first really disturbing comment that I've can remember that we've ever had we got last week. It was really disheartening. Someone put in a racist comment, like a white power type comment. There's no room for that here, guys. Like, banned for life. Just none of that stuff. Now, pro gaming didn't do that, but let's behave. I mean, yes, we can have fun, of course, but no politics, no religion, no hate stuff. Everyone here is welcome, no matter what their politics or religion or orientation or socioeconomic level or age or whatever. Everyone's welcome. So let's just make sure we act accordingly in the chat, okay? And also, my mods work super hard, and they do it for free. And so let's not do things that bug them and make their job harder. That's just not considerate. Okay. Let's see here. I think that's all that the mods are feeding me, so I think we'll close it for now. I believe that, yeah, okay. So what I want to do now is just find out how that went. Real quick, before we close this out, we're about to do the final giveaway and finish up now. I'm just curious how that was. Mods, did that work for you? Other folks, just folks watching, does that seem like something that was like, oh, okay, that worked for me, or did you like the old system better? Just trying to find a way to not be so behind and miss important stuff, I guess. So just curious what folks thought. I missed one. Okay, hang on. I'll scroll up and find it. Was it a super chat I missed, or was it a comment? I'm going to guess it was a comment. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Looking here. If I don't see it in just a second, then I'll stop looking, because I don't want to take the whole stream just looking. I don't see it, Candy, but we're close to the end here. So, hey, Lance! Lance Takata, thanks, Lance, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. Yeah, always appreciate it. Just it is helpful. Okay, Dawn thinks it was better. Chattanooga Ed hates ick. Punchy Paints thought it worked pretty well. Master Photographer thought it worked well. Just looking for some other feedback on if people like this system. And then we'll do the final giveaway and close it out for the night. But when you try something new, you want to find out if it works. So mods, also please let me know if it's like, oh, with this additional work, if we need to find another mod to help out, or give someone the designation of this is your job, just do this, or maybe we rotate. Today it's Candy, tomorrow it's Bob. Then I don't know the best way to manage it. But if you guys like this, then we can find a way to continue. It worked well for skippers. Okay. Tiffany White thought it worked well. Fish Keeper Cole, detracting comment. He liked the old one better. It worked well, says John Cox, but you guys need practice. Yes, I agree. It's brand new. Absolute Aquatics liked it. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to do one more. The one I missed was from Hiram Santiago. 2 of my dwarf rainbow fish have a white fin, I'm guessing. Do you think it could be injury from male or beginning of ick or fin rot? The males sleep fine and they eat well still. Okay, so the male's got a little white on the fin. So for most, Hiram, is this a new fish or a fish that's just moved to a new setup? If that's the case, then some stress could have occurred, and once it adjusts, it might be just fine in clean water with some space and peace and quiet. Its immune system might kick in and it might be just fine. If this is a fish you've had for a while and your parameters are fine, you've tested and you actually know that, and you haven't changed anything maintenance-wise or feeding-wise, and suddenly that's happened, then that's a little more concerning, because it's not, we can't attribute that to the stress of a new environment or anything like that. So it's impossible for me to tell you what it is, if it's ick or fin rot or what, because there's so many things that can cause white stuff on fish. Ick is fairly easy to diagnose. It's tiny little white spots all over the fish, the body, the fins, everywhere. If there's just some white and it's isolated to just one fin, it's probably not ick. It's probably something else. But what I would say is, I cannot tell you what it is based on the description I read. But the best thing you could do to start is just good food and really clean water. If you see another fish harassing it, or you can find a stressor, like, oh, that fish is constantly picking on that fish, therefore it's stressed, therefore it's getting ill, then removing the stress could really be helpful. But I couldn't tell you any more than that without really knowing what it is, and I can't know what it is based on what I read there. Okay, we're going to close it out now and do the second giveaway. Once again, this giveaway is provided by Absolute Aquatics, who's gotten up to 50 subs tonight. That's pretty cool. And the giveaway is for a $25 gift certificate. And the winner is Chris Patterson. Chris Patterson, come on down. You have won $25 in gift certificates to Dan's Fish, provided by Absolute Aquatics. So you've got about a minute to put in a message saying you're here. And then if you would email me, dan@dansfish.com, say, hey, I'm Chris, I won the gift certificate, then I will send you one on behalf of Absolute Aquatics, is I think how we're doing it. So we're just going to twiddle our thumbs here for just one moment while we... There we go. I am here, says Chris Patterson. Awesome, Chris. Send me an email, and we'll get you a gift certificate. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to my mods, as always. Thanks for trying this new thing with me. Let's try it again next week. And unless I hear different, if you're like, oh, I hated that or whatever, send me an email, call me, whatever, and we'll work something else out. But let's try it for a little bit if everyone's game and see how it goes. And yeah, I don't know. See if people like it better or not. Everyone that left a super chat, thank you so much. Always appreciated. All you people that participated with questions and comments, thanks so much. If I couldn't get to yours, then I'm very sorry. Can't get to all of them. And all you lurkers, Lurker Nation, everyone watching on the replay, hello. And until next one, I hope you have a good... Oh, Punchy Paints. Punchy Paints usually goes after me at about 9 o'clock. So in about 26 minutes... Punchy Paints, I believe, will be doing her weekly live stream, so check it out if you want more. And until next Wednesday,